Future projects will further improve the river.
Most rivers that flow through a city tend to be very polluted. And one of the big reasons for that is what I mentioned, stormwater runoff. We build our cities mostly from pavement and buildings, and all these things are what we call impervious. So when water hits them, it can't go through it. If you think about when water falls in a forest, though, most of the rainwater can go down into the ground or gets taken up by trees. So it's a big difference when water falls in a forest, what happens to it, and when water falls in a city, what happens to it. So we want to try and bring those things a little bit closer together. So build more environmentally friendly urban environments that, instead of being completely impervious to water, let water infiltrate into the ground just like it would in a forest, have some green cover or green skin like trees, just like a forest does, that takes up water and puts it back into the atmosphere, and also has some vegetation that helps filter and clean the water before it eventually runs off into our urban streams and rivers.
Instead of having all the water go straight into the storm drain, there's ways of diverting the water to a rain garden that's near the drain, letting it soak into the ground. Or you can even sort of cut one of the curbs out that's near the storm drain and create a rain garden within the center of the parking lot. So as new development comes to Malden and Malden starts to really appreciate its waterfront, there's an opportunity to, as these properties are being redeveloped, to treat the stormwater pretty cost effectively. It's not any more expensive than any other typical engineering.
So what cities along the Malden River can do to limit their pollution from stormwater, I would say first and foremost is to be in full compliance with their MS4 stormwater permit. That's a permit that EPA issues to cities and towns. Second, towns actually have the ability to control stormwater runoff from privately owned parking lots like commercial shopping malls and industrial facilities. And they should take full advantage of that opportunity through things like stormwater utilities and using the town's own bylaws. And in general, towns should be looking for opportunities to promote green infrastructure like low impact development treatments for stormwater throughout the town, which have the added benefit of providing green space and making the cities more livable.
It's funny, I've been involved with sampling of the Malden River for over 20 years. Back to a day when no one ever thought we'd see the river cleaned up. And I can say with all honesty right now, we've come further in the last decade than anybody could have perceived. And moving forward, we now have a roadmap for cleaning of the entire river corridor through the assistance of the Army Corps of Engineers. It's called an ecosystem feasibility study, and we're going to construction drawings now, which is designed to deal with stormwater quality issues, bordering banks, and so I'm really optimistic. And I should point out Little Creek, which is a tributary to the river just up over here, has been cleaned up with the contamination that was in it last year by the responsible party. So we're starting to see corrective measures coming in at a very fast pace, and so I'm very optimistic that the Malden River will be opened up to the public for recreational uses in a pretty short period of time.
We have $5.2 million set aside from the Army Corps of Engineers, and that's to do a study of the river. And so the Mystic Valley Development Commission that we talked about previously is now securing the money to match the $5.2 million that is available from the Army Corps of Engineers. And then once that's completed, we're hopeful to do design, construction, and some of the goals that are outlined in this study for the river.
They are planning to remove all of the invasive growth on both banks of the river, in Everett, Malden, and Medford. They are planning to put in plants that would naturally grow in this area. In addition to that, they want to clean the bottom of the river. And one of the most important things they want to do, this is not a tidal river because of the Amelia Earhart Dam. So the water in this river doesn't move, and it has a very low oxygen level. They plan to build some kind of devices here on the river to oxygenate the water to bring back the aquatic life.
Other developments will increase trail access along the Malden River with projects like the GE site redevelopment, Wellington Greenway, and the Bike to the Sea Trail.
The General Electric site is just north of where we're standing. It's a former jet engine manufacturing facility. It's a site that has been sold to or acquired by Berkeley Development or Berkeley Green. It's a site that has been master planned to redevelop it into 5 parcels of land, and the most exciting feature about that site is that it's going to have access to the river.
A bunch of folks managed to write a grant through Mass Environmental Trust to take this bit of land that you see here, which is actually owned by T Realty Trust, and it was just an access road that the T used to maintain the Orange Line Bridge, and they're going to build a pedestrian walkway here to connect John Priol's paths and Mr. Wellington's office park's paths down to the Station Landing path. So soon, hopefully within a year or so, you'll be able to go from Station Landing and go all the ways around and across Route 128 over to the Tobic McDonald Park and even further upriver.
The Bike to the Sea path runs along an old railroad right-of-way. It's about a 9-mile trail that connects the watersheds, it connects basically Boston with the Lynn. The trail offers an amazing opportunity to connect people from the community to the river. Like, it's a little hard to get down to the river, but by walking along some proposed paths that are in Everett, I realized how you could actually connect the river to the bike path.
Well, as I said before, we already have several days that the river is suitable for boating, and we have some days that the river is suitable for swimming. And we hope to improve that grade with time. We'd like to get it to an A at some point.
So as we continue to deal with the sediment issues and improving stormwater quality, I'm very optimistic. In fact, I expect that the general public will be making a lot of use of the river in the days ahead.
I hope someday that we'll be able to use the river for all the purposes that I think it was originally intended to. And so hopefully in the years to come we'll be able to have all sorts of activities down along the river's edge.
The goal was fishable and swimmable by 2010, and we established that in 2000. So we thought 10 years was a good amount of time for us to complete that work. Well, we didn't reach that goal, but we have increased the number of days during which the rivers are fishable and swimmable, or rather I should say swimmable. Fishable is a whole other issue, and that was one of the things we discovered when we reviewed that goal. But swimmable, I think, is something that we can obtain in the near term, in the next 5 to 10 years, if we keep doing the work we're doing.
Once you get on the Malden River, in the Mystic River, you see a part of the communities that you've never seen before. And seeing all the beautiful green space up and down the river. We even have a couple little islands behind me. On the Mystic, we have a few inlets that people aren't even aware of. And it's really a great place. It's aesthetically, it's beautiful. It's very relaxing, and it's a great opportunity for us. We've come a long way, baby, in terms of cleaning up the rivers. However, there's still a ways to go.
You know, you could say Malden's a riverfront community now, and you couldn't say that before.